Bill O'Reilly, Confronting the Presidents, No Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden. Dive into the riveting exploration of American presidents from Washington to Biden with Bill O'Reilly's Confronting the Presidents, No Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden. This book sheds light on the multifaceted characters and legacies of U.S. leaders, highlighting the virtues and vices that have shaped the presidency. Witness the careful balance of power instituted by the Founding Fathers, intended to mitigate human imperfections such as ambition and selfishness. Journey through time with key figures like Washington, whose relinquishment of power set a democratic precedent, Lincoln's unwavering leadership through civil strife, and FDR's transformative New Deal during economic turmoil. We also navigate the contentious modern era, where Trump's unconventional exit from office marks a significant departure from tradition. Readers can expect a robust analysis of presidential tenures, characterized by personal flaws and profound historical impacts, unveiling the continual evolution of American leadership.
Washington's Trust Legacy. Washington's hesitance to wield power played a pivotal role in earning the trust of Americans who were wary of tyranny. The Founding Fathers recognized that human imperfection, often marked by selfishness and cruelty, posed a significant political challenge. Without proper controls, these flaws could dismantle the American Republic. Their remedy was a system that embraced human nature's tendencies by pitting ambition against ambition, through checks and balances. This idea was central to the Constitution crafted during the 1787 Constitutional Convention. Once ratified, it set the stage for elections, resulting in George Washington's 1788 election as the first U.S. president. Washington's distinguished role as a war hero had already cemented his reputation, but his genuine disinterest in power proved crucial. Unlike power-hungry individuals, Washington willingly retreated to his estate to live as a citizen farmer, needing persuasion to leave retirement for the presidency. Serving from 1789 to 1797, Washington modestly downplayed his achievements but established the vital tradition of a peaceful transfer of power, enduring unchallenged until recent years. His administration also laid the groundwork for securing American liberties by passing the Bill of Rights. Beyond his public persona, Washington's private life revealed a complex relationship with his mother, Mary Washington. After losing his father at 11, George inherited the family estate, a decision Mary resented due to her ensuing financial struggles. Despite Washington's own financial difficulties, he never hesitated to send money to his mother, viewing it as a personal obligation. Yet, he grew displeased when Mary sought a state pension from the Virginia legislature. Washington candidly informed the legislature that his mother was not in dire need, leading to the denial of her request. Despite their tense dynamics, Washington visited Mary before assuming the presidency, marking their final meeting prior to her passing in 1789. These facets of Washington's life, his measured exercise of power, significant contributions to American governance, and the intricate layers of his personal relationships, paint a portrait of a leader whose legacy of trust and prudence continues to resonate. Lincoln's unyielding leadership. Abraham Lincoln's unwavering resolve and principled leadership were instrumental in guiding the United States through the turmoil of the Civil War. In stark contrast to his predecessor, James Buchanan, who is often criticized for his ineffective presidency, Lincoln's legacy is celebrated for his moral clarity and strategic acumen. While Buchanan, privileged from birth and indulgent in personal pleasures, sought to placate the pro-slavery South, misjudging the political landscape completely, Lincoln rose from humble beginnings with a single-minded focus on preserving the Union and ending slavery. Buchanan's presidency was marred by his failure to understand the gravity of the nation's division. When Southern states began seceding to form the Confederacy, Buchanan's attempts at appeasement left the government weak and unprepared as conflict loomed. His misguided stance that slavery was a necessary institution for preserving the Union only deepened the national rift. Lincoln entered office in a nation on the brink of war, condemning slavery as fundamentally wrong and representing a direct threat to the ideals established by the Founding Fathers. Determined to uphold these democratic principles, he led the nation through its darkest hours. Under his leadership, strategic decisions were made with an uncompromising focus on Union victory, including the replacement of ineffectual military leadership with Ulysses S. Grant, who was known for his relentless pursuit of victory despite substantial losses. A key turning point was Lincoln's issuance of the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1, 1863, which declared freedom for over 3.5 million enslaved African Americans in the Confederacy. This bold executive order not only redefined the war's purpose but also struck at the Confederacy's economic foundations. 2 years later, Confederate surrender marked the beginning of the end of a conflict that had claimed over 600,000 American lives. Tragically, Lincoln's life was cut short by assassination on April 15, 1865, just days after the war's conclusion. His death, at the hands of Confederate sympathizer John Wilkes Booth, robbed the nation of a leader who had adeptly navigated it through civil war and laid the groundwork for a nation free of slavery. His legacy, cementing him as one of America's greatest presidents, endures as a testament to his visionary leadership and steadfast commitment to justice and equality. Harding's Gilded Gambit. In Warren Harding's White House, indulgence reigns supreme. A haze of sausages, sauerkraut, whiskey, and smoke fills the air as waistcoats hang loose and ties sway untied over an intense poker game. Harding, ignoring his presidential status, casually joins his friends, the stakes set at a set of official White House china. Hardly the typical image of a U.S. president, it's as though Harding has forgotten his role entirely. An accidental president, Harding ascends from relative obscurity when he emerges as a surprise compromise candidate during a stalemate at the 1920 Republican National Convention. More notable for his charm and photogenic presence than his political acumen, he campaigns on a promise of normalcy, soothing voters weary from the devastation of a world war and the grip of a pandemic. Yet behind the doors of his 1921 White House, a secret life thrives, one well known to the Secret Service. Agents discreetly usher in women and alcohol, aiding Harding's extramarital escapades amid prohibition. Republican leaders play accomplice when a mistress threatens exposure, whisking her away with the promise of luxury and lifelong financial security in exchange for silence. While Harding's personal indiscretions are noteworthy, it's the intrinsic corruption of his administration that most scars his legacy. With the president distracted, his cronies, the Ohio gang, commandeer the reins of government, exploiting their positions for personal gain. A significant scandal erupts when one operative accepts a hefty $365,000 bribe, unlocking illegal oil drilling on public lands. Meanwhile, another diverts essential alcohol and pharmaceuticals to bootleggers while veterans go without. As Harding remains absorbed in leisure and affairs, the government reels. The revelry grinds to a halt in 1922 with the launch of an investigation into the administration's misdeeds. Central to this inquiry is the Teapot Dome scandal, named for a geological feature in Wyoming near illicit drilling activities. Despite Harding's credible denial of involvement, public outrage surges. By the time scrutiny intensifies, Harding's presidency is in steep decline. Robbed of the chance to face the consequences publicly, Harding dies suddenly on August 2, 1923. His death paves the way for Calvin Coolidge, the vice president, to assume leadership just hours later, stepping into a White House shadowed by scandal and shattered trust. FDR's revolutionary vision. On a fateful day in 1929, the U.S. stock market crashed, unraveling the nation's economy. President Herbert Hoover viewed this calamity as just another economic hiccup, believing the market would right itself if left alone. Having built a successful life from humble beginnings, Hoover saw little need for government intervention, opting instead for inaction amid an unprecedented crisis. His indifference led to widespread despair, epitomized by Hoovervilles, shantytowns named after him, and cars dubbed Hoover wagons, pulled by horses due to gas shortages. Meanwhile, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, scion of wealth and privilege, emerged as the antithesis of Hoover. FDR's background might have been steeped in affluence, but a strong sense of social responsibility drove him. As he campaigned for the presidency, FDR promised a transformative vision, a New Deal where the government would play an active role in rescuing the nation's beleaguered citizens. Unlike Hoover, FDR's approach was dynamic and proactive, promoting federal initiatives to stabilize banks, aid farmers, and generate public works projects to create jobs. Empowered by significant congressional support, FDR embarked on a feverish legislative spree during his first 100 days in office. His energy and dedication bore fruit as critical reforms were enacted to reinvigorate the economy. This newfound optimism resonated deeply with the American public, securing FDR a prolonged presidency that spanned 4 terms. Under his leadership, the nation not only clawed its way out of the Great Depression but also faced down the threat of Nazi Germany. FDR's legacy stands in stark contrast to his predecessor, earning him a place among America's most revered presidents. Power's Endgame. Trump's unprecedented refusal to vacate the White House stands as a striking deviation from history. Presidents throughout time have varied in their responses to the challenges of their role, some rise nobly while others remain oblivious, distracted by trivial pursuits. Their intentions range from honorable to questionable, revealing their common humanity, just like ordinary citizens. George Washington, one of the revered founding fathers, had his own share of mundane struggles as his mother's accounts remind us. However, regardless of their differing legacies, all presidents share the inevitability of departure from office. Some do so willingly, others after completing their term, and a few are inevitably pushed out. Leaving the White House is a bittersweet rite of passage, seldom relished by those who experience it. Pat Nixon's visible sorrow as she left the role she disliked underscores the gravity of this transition. Yet, this transfer of power is a vital principle of American democracy. George H.W. Bush exemplified dignity in departure after losing a fierce battle to Bill Clinton by leaving behind a note of goodwill, pledging support for his successor's success as the nation's success. Conversely, some partings evoke less grace, such as Buchanan's open disdain during Lincoln's inauguration. The long undisputed process of peaceful power transition was upended on January 6, 2021, when Trump challenged the 2020 election results, provoking his supporters with claims of conspiracy. In a shocking turn, his followers stormed the U.S. Capitol to stop the certification process, driven by Trump's polarizing narrative. His presidency, fraught with controversy, extreme rhetoric, and a divided national sentiment, is hard to ignore. While he boosted real wages, decreased inflation, fortified Ukraine, concluded ISIS's campaign, and restrained Iran, his tenure mirrored the mixed highlights and setbacks that characterize many presidencies. Yet, the events of January 6 stand out as an indelible mark. Trump could have denounced the attack, but instead, his decision to break with historical norms posed a severe risk to America's long-standing democratic foundations. This significant blemish, from a historical lens, remains impossible to disregard, vastly overshadowing his achievements.
In Confronting the Presidents, No Spin Assessments from Washington to Biden, Bill O'Reilly offers an insightful chronicle of America's presidents, spotlighting the enduring struggle between personal ambition and public duty. Each leader, from Washington's trusted restraint to Lincoln's decisive wartime strategies, and from Hoover's rigidity to FDR's dynamic governance, has imprinted their mark on the nation's trajectory. The book underscores the intricate dance of character and circumstance, unveiling how individual shortcomings and achievements intertwine with larger historical forces. Trump's controversial approach to relinquishing power poses poignant questions about the resilience of American democracy. Ultimately, readers gain a crucial understanding of how the presidency reflects broader societal currents and how leaders must continually rise to meet the demands of their eras, perpetually shaping the nation's path forward. This compelling narrative not only informs but inspires reflection on the enduring principles that underpin effective governance.